This just in, there is major breaking news in the NBA. The Oklahoma City Thunder have agreed to trade Russell Westbrook to the Rockets for Chris Paul. This is a major trade.
I called it.
Major trade, major duo that just appeared out of thin air with this duo.
This is exactly what I said would happen the day you told me Paul George was traded. We made that video. It's on the channel. My very first thing I said is the Houston Rockets. That's where Russ needs to go. All these other dudes are getting their target teams.
That's the decision he woke up with this morning.
He came to that conclusion. He's like, you know what? James Harden is where I'm going. And the best thing is the Rockets didn't lose any of their auxiliary parts. They got to keep Eric Gordon. You got Capella. You got Tucker, who apparently made the most corner threes in the whole league. So now you have two assisters out there, two scoring champions / assisters out there. At this point, it's on D'Antoni to maximize this awesome offensive team you had.
Right.
But it's a complete upgrade. Like, you didn't lose anything. You just simply upgraded from a 16 points a game player who's washed to a dude who's getting 24, 11, and 11 on an off year.
I didn't think the Rockets would win the Russell Westbrook sweepstakes. Now,
I knew he would win.
this sweepstakes, we had teams like Miami. We had teams like Detroit.
I heard a bunch of teams. I've heard Orlando. I heard Charlotte. Like, there is only two duos that I would accept: Russ and Harden, or Russ and Giannis. Both those duos I would take over Russ and Paul George. So the way I'm looking at this is, last year we had Ferguson. Now we have James Harden. You upgrade from who was the Thunder's?
Grant.
Grant. Now that's Tucker. Now Adams is Capella. I should have said James Harden's now. Paul George is now James Harden.
Right.
Ferguson's Eric Gordon. So literally at every position, you have an upgrade across the board for the Houston Rockets.
To me, I think it'll be a good fit because last year in Oklahoma City was Russ's second year in a row leading the league in assists with no shooters. Paul George was his only shooter.
The last two people to lead the league in assists are these two players, and they're also two of the last three MVP winners as well.
So now the fact that we have Russ and James Harden, both MVPs, both scoring champions, and have led the entire NBA in assists. I want to squash the narrative that Westbrook ain't a passer. James Harden ain't a passer. These dudes love to pass.
These dudes
they average 8+ assists last year.
The whole
James
problem
Harden
with Russ's 3-point percentage is this is the problem, you freaking morons. Oklahoma City had one shooter on the team, Paul George. No other player is really a good shooter. So when Westbrook is basically your second best shooter on the team, taking 10 threes a game, he's gonna make 3 out of 10 a game. But on the Rockets aren't getting Russ to make threes. This team can do that. His job is to rebound, create more plays at mid-range shots because they don't have any of that. More drives downhill to the rim, which you can kick out with shooters everywhere. Now instead of kicking out to fucking Grant and all these dudes, it's Eric Gordon. Knock down shooters.
I want to address somebody on ESPN, and I hope they see this. Will Cain was on national television today, and he said he didn't know if Russ and Harden is better, if the Rockets got better with this trade. James Harden and Russell Westbrook will be, in my opinion, the best backcourt in the NBA. I think they're more explosive and they're more versatile, and they can do way more things than just Clay and Steph.
Well, freaking Clay's hurt, so I'm not gonna, that's why they're not ranked in this backcourt. Like, they're not. I'm saying,
even if healthy, I got these guys. I got Russ, James Harden.
Especially post ACL injury, you never know how good he'll come back.
I think it's going to be a great fit. I really do. Now, D'Antoni really has some work to do. People are saying,
who was that one guy we were watching who was
Seth Greenburg, college basketball analyst.
He was saying how it's a perfect fit. Like Russell's fucking 3-point percentage is only a problem if he's a dude who's taking the threes. Russ should probably honestly average a career low in attempts from 3 this year because the whole team averages like 50 attempts a game.
Right.
There's no need for Russ to even shoot threes for this team when you have shooters everywhere. That's been the problem. He's been able to lead the league in assists with no shooters.
Right.
So now you give him shooters. Like last series against Portland OKC, team misses 50 3-point shots in 2 games. Mm-hmm. And you wonder why you lose that game, that series. So, I'd rather have freaking Paul George's 4 more points a game he gets than Westbrook isn't worth all the rebounds and assists and,
To me, I want to talk a little bit about Houston Rockets shipped out a washed, dried, and folded point guard in Chris Paul. lost his first step, lost his burst of athleticism. Now you get Russell Westbrook, the most athletic point guard in NBA history, attacks the rim ferociously, dumping it off, diming it off. I think it'll just be perfect. You get Russell Westbrook, 11 rebounds a game. No one's talking about how now the Rockets are a better rebounding team. They're a better defensive team.
They're just better.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Russell Westbrook number 2 in the NBA in assists? Steals behind Paul George.
And I think Harden was number 3 behind those two. So
either way you slice it, play defense.
Either way you slice it, okay. The Rockets are going to have, if Harden can keep that up, 2 of the top 3 guys in steals per game, because the top 4 will probably be, in whatever order you want, Leonard, George, Harden, and Westbrook.
How tall is James Harden?
6'6", 6'7".
To me, this is another thing people aren't talking about. Everyone is talking about Kemba Walker replacing Kyrie Irving. Russell Westbrook and James Harden are not miniature guards. They are actually big guards. Russ is 6'3", 6'4".
6'4".
James Harden,
6'6".
6'5", 6'6". Like, these guys can play multiple positions. James Harden can spot up as Russ is pounding the ball, dumping and diming. Like, they're not miniature.
Eric Gordon could average 19 for this team.
They're not liabilities on defense. I've heard that today, too. Russell Westbrook is not a liability on defense. He's athletic enough. He can guard anybody.
The Rockets just became,
And people are saying Russell Westbrook might be a top 20 player. Are you fucking kidding me?
The dude's made 8 straight All-NBA teams.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Russ and James Harden is the best duo in the league. I'm a LeBron fan. I'm a LeBron fan. I think you guys are better than LeBron and AD.
Well, I think we can win for sure too. Like I said, they're the only duo in the league now that Steph and KD has broken up, where both players in the duo are MVP winners.
I could make a major case to why Russ or James is more accomplished than Anthony Davis. It's not even close in terms of career accomplishments. Like, your guys' accomplishments between your duo is unprecedented. Right. There's only been 4 teams ever to have teammates who've won MVPs apart, and now they come back together. You got Bob Cousy, Bill Russell. Julius Randle, Moses Malone.
Not Julius Randle.
Irving. Julius Irving and Moses Malone. They won a title their first year together. The Rockets drastically increased their championship window.
Steph and KD.
Yep.
So that's the only 4.
The Rockets championship window is wide back open now. Wide open. With Chris Paul, it was a sliver. The door was basically closed.
Well, yeah, because he wasn't as good as he was even 2 years ago. Like, he's almost 35. You might as well get a dude who's 30, same age as Harden. These guys are just turned 30 or whatever. So these guys, mileage-wise, are so much younger.
Even though this should be the Thunder team. Like, how do you trade all these pieces, Sam Presti? This should be happening in OKC.
Well, at least freaking Houston has a team full of shooters.
Right.
And they can still, they have till training camp to get this roster fine-tuned. But you're from a starting lineup standpoint.
Right.
You run Westbrook and Harden at the guards, Gordon, Tucker, Capella. Boom.
To me,
so far, and then you work on your bench. But so far, that's fantastic.
The major credit goes to Houston's front office and their willingness to get better and take chances. Every big name, from Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler, Russell Westbrook, they've been rumored to be trying to get these guys. They're trying to get better.
They didn't really want Jimmy Butler. They were just desperate to try to find some means, because they didn't think, unless Paul George requests that trade, this doesn't even happen.
Right.
So, Butler was a target because of the Thunder still remained. Nobody knew OKC was going to split up and divvy their power up between 2 teams.
All I'm saying is Houston's the only team who's been actively involved in all these reports regarding all these players. To me, if I'm James Harden, that tells me that front office is doing everything in their power to not waste my prime years. Last year, they tried to get Jimmy Butler before Philly got him. They wanted Anthony Davis. Now that they got Russell Westbrook, they got the best prize of all. The fact that they didn't sign Jimmy Butler or any of these other guys, they waited perfect, and they got the perfect fit in Russell Westbrook.
It just makes perfect sense. Like I said, I called it on this channel. I named 3 teams: the Rockets, the Bucks, or the Sixers, just because they're over in the East.
Right.
But the Rockets, like I said, if you put a gun to my head, this is the team I'm picking. And I'm willing to live with the results, because they did exactly what I would have done if I was in this position. And Russ wanted to play with the team I figured he'd want to play with. He wasn't going to go to the Warriors.
I think we're going to see Russell Westbrook versus LeBron James in the Western Conference
Don't
Finals.
forget, we got Harden out there too.
I don't know. I'm saying Russell Westbrook and LeBron. Like, I think the Lakers and the Rockets, I think they're the two best teams in the West. I'm not sold on the Clippers. They don't complement each other. Kawhi and Paul George aren't playmakers. Their skill sets overlap
You have
a
all
little
these
bit.
different types of duos now.
There's so many types of duos.
You got an ultra guard duo. You got in those two, Leonard and Jordan. You got an ultra wing duo. LeBron and AD. You got your ultra forwards duo. I'm missing somebody. The Splash Brothers duo when healthy. Kyrie and KD will be some type of duo when they can actually be healthy. You got smaller duos like Lillard, McCollum.
Now, you also wanted to touch on a prediction in this video. Your Chris Paul won't get traded from Oklahoma.
I'll be surprised if he gets moved a second time. Not many teams are going to want to take on that contract. Like, the only teams I can think of that would take it on are, obviously you got to pay the luxury tax. But a desperate, like, say Philadelphia, just because Simmons can't shoot the freaking ball. Say they, trade some picks and they pick up Chris Paul. Or say, like, the Pacers, like, any team that's just a playoff team who's trying to make an extra round.
Right.
Or so. But if he goes anywhere, I could see him going to the Knicks. Just because they'll sell tickets and the fact that
James Dolan don't care anyway, so he'll pay him.
He'll pay him. Like, someone's got to pay Chris Paul this money. It might as well be New York.
Heat are kind of interested, but they didn't make the Westbrook trade, so they're not going to make this trade. Guarantee it. Guarantee
I'm
it.
just glad Russ didn't get screwed over and get sent to some, like, I knew he wouldn't happen. I knew he'd get his target team. But, like, it makes sense to have Chris Paul be the odd man out. Like, in all those players, all those duos we mentioned, LeBron, AD, Paul, Kawhi, Russ, and Harden, CP3 is nowhere near as good as any of those dudes. Other than that, I can see maybe CP3 going to Miami Heat. That seems to make a little bit of sense because you have Butler there already. So you have Chris Paul and Jimmy Butler. It's like a poor man's duo. Like, it's not quite good enough to be classified as a duo, but it's not bad. It's nice.
Right. 37 points a game, along with a triple-double. Russ and James Harden are going to be something special to watch this regular season and postseason. I can't wait, honestly. I really can't wait. All right, guys, it's the Fields Bros. Drop a comment. Leave your reaction to this blockbuster trade down below in the comments.
Called it. The day it happens.
James Harden.